Hey, well, welcome back. It's been a while since I've done a video. The other videos, even if they're dated, they're still valid. I hope you are using them and they're helping you with your assignments, your course, your papers you're writing, anything that will help alleviate any stress uh, with those assignments, with your courses, with those papers, you name it. And if you're going from grade 12 to, well, if you're going from one grade to another grade, or from especially grade 12 to post-secondary, my hope for you is that the transition will be smooth. And it's smooth because you took the initiative to utilize these resources, and it will benefit you and achieving the marks you want to achieve. And yes, there's a bunch of steps that you must take on your own. Um, there's the uh, taking ownership for what you write, giving credit for what you borrow from those containers, such as websites, books, um, essays, articles. It's anything that's not yours. You're giving credit, and that's an in-text citation. Okay. And then you go and do your works cited. Okay. And if you do that back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, as you're doing your paper, instead of punching in a bunch of URLs and then trying to figure out which URL is tied to which reference or source you use from a container that you're borrowing from, if you do the in-text citation and the full works cited, and then you can alphabetize and all that jazz afterwards. But it's going to save you a lot more time if you do it as you go. You can use citation machines. Most of them are charging now, so just a heads up on that one. There is one called citationmachine.net. It's currently free. Just be sure you're choosing the right format. It works, so great if it's going to help you. But keep in mind, that's another container, and you're copying and copying from there and pasting it into your original document. So you're going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, and that's time consuming, and you could forget something. Whereas if you do it as you go, so you've stated your opinion, and then you're validating with a reference or a source from a container. Okay, so website, book, whatever. And then you put that in-text citation. If it's paraphrased, author, last name in brackets before the punctuation. If it's a direct quote, then it comes after the direct quote. Author, last name in brackets, start a new paragraph. If it's paraphrased and there's no author, then you have the article title in brackets before the punctuation. If it's a direct quote, then you have and no author, direct or article title in brackets, start a new paragraph. Okay. And then go do your works cited, and your works cited for MLA 8 and 9. It'll be slightly different for APA and Chicago. You can see my video on that one and the comparisons between MLA, Chicago, and APA. Please check that out. And if you haven't done so, subscribe. I'm trying to hit 400 here. And thanks to all of those who have subscribed up to this point. So appreciate that. Got to get that plug. So appreciate that. And I'm glad people are using this site. All right, back to our program. So it's very important if you do it as you go. MLA 8 or 9, just use one or the other and be consistent. You have number 1 is your author. Okay, that's last name, comma, first name, period. Then you have your title of source. So it's the title of the source, whether it's the title of a book or if it's a title of an article in quotations, if it's a book title, italics, And your container is also in italics too. So, and that's the where you got it from. But novels are in italics as well, and bolded. So there's that's a slight difference there. Um, and period after that, then you have your title container in italics, and then that's where there's a comma. Then you have if you are using a version like um, the fifth edition or whatever the case, put that version number in. If it or version in, if it's a number like um, volume 3 or whatever, then you put the number in there. And then, of course, then we get into publisher, which you will have. That's usually at the bottom of a website. And sometimes it's the same as your name of your container. So be careful about that one. Then another comma, then your publication date, comma, and then your URL, that's your location, or page number. So it would be PP period, and then the page numbers, and then a period. The something new is the access date. Now, citation machines will automatically put that in, but it is stated that based on the research I have done through the Honolulu Community College Library, they state specifically, and I posted this on Etsy, that you don't have to put an access date for MLA, but it is encouraged because this is something never thought of, but if you are using a source on, say, today, March 21st, 2025, and from a container, or you borrowed a source reference from a container on this date, and then on March 22nd, somebody alters it. They edit it or modify it or whatever. So you borrowed whatever reference source from the container on the 21st, and then they go and change it. And so you are protected by that access date because you have put that access date in there, proving that you have borrowed it on that day before the change. And then if there are any questions, say, hey, you don't have the updated version. Well, don't have the update. At the time, I was using the information that was given to me at that time, and that's what the access date. Well, one of the reasons why the access date is very important. It's also important just to let your audience know that when you were using or accessing this information. So that's very important as well. So I would encourage you to put that in now, and that would come after the location, and then you put a period after that as well. So you're going to have two periods at the beginning of your works cited and at the end with the inclusion of the access date. And then don't forget to indent your second and third subsequent lines. Have that hanging indent or that 7. You know how excited I get with the 7, right? And to get that indent, put your cursor at the end of the first line right after that last character, hit tab 2 or 3 times, and then watch the magic. It just goes, oh, okay. And it gets excited, okay, and it moves over all by itself, okay. Or you can just do it more, and that little ruler at the top of a Word document, well, you can put your cursor on the second line and just slide that bottom ruler over 5 spots or 5 spaces, and it'll move over too. So not really exciting, but hey, the other one's more exciting. And grammatically, that didn't sound right. But anyways, put the cursor at the end of the first line, hit tab, tab, and you're ready to go. 7. Okay, so please go for it. So I'm going to show you this example, and I'm going to share. Now they updated the Zoom here. So hopefully you are seeing what I'm showing you. So you have, when you end text cite, you have a source or reference source from a container. Okay. Again, container is a website or a novel, whatever you're taking it from. Images too. If you're borrowing an image from a container, you have that in-text citation. So if there's an author's name, put the author's name down. If there's no author's name, put the article down, title down. And I'll show you what to do for images in just a sec. And I already talked about the paraphrasing and direct quote. So please rewind back if you have to check that out. But always cite your sources. Okay, it's very important. And if you look at how, this is from a book. So you put the in-text citation. If you're paraphrasing here, no comma, don't stick that comma in there. Just go last name, page number. Okay. Or if there's no article, just put the article title. And if it's just a straight container author for the article, just put Smith. Okay. So that's all in my course selling booklet. And I've already done videos on this as well. Here's another example of what it could look like with a author last name and without. Okay. And just using article title. And bibliography is the universal term. MLA, it's works cited. APA is referencing or references, sorry, and Chicago is bibliography. Okay, so just be sure that you are using the right terms. All right, so I'm going to just scroll here to what's long quotes. If you have a long quote, like something that is you want to use this whole section to validate what you're saying. There's no way of paraphrasing it. Say your bit, what you want to focus on, what needs validating. Put that colon in there. That's the 2 dots, and then you center the whole quote. There's no quotation marks anymore, and you center it all, and then you put your in-text citation at the very end, and then start a new paragraph. Okay. This is a Shakespeare reference, so you have Act 2, Scene 3, lines 217 to 24. Okay. If it's author last name, then it's author last name. If there's no author, article title. Okay. So pretty straightforward there. Okay, this is the new stuff. Finally. All right. He's been yapping. Okay, works cited. I've already gone all over this. Here's artist last name, first name, that's number 1. Title of the picture. So this is for pictures. And then title of the site, that's your container. The date. If there is a publisher listed, then put that in there. I know it's not listed here, but put that publisher in there if there is one listed. Date would be the date that was taken. If there is no date, use the current date, URL where you got it from, and the access date. And you can see the 2 periods there. Okay, so please keep that in mind, or keep that in mind. The in-text citation for an image is the author's last name or the title of the picture. Now, I'm instructing and asking students to put the author's last name and a hyphen and a title of the picture in brackets below the image. Now, why? Because as an audience, I would like to know who took the picture, and I would like to know what the title of the picture is. Now, if there is no title of the picture, I've been asking students to, and this is what you should be doing anyways, is give it a title. Okay, so give the picture a title, and then that becomes That's your number one, that's your number two. And if you look at your works cited, that's what it's going to look like. Now, I'm asking again that you do this as you go. So once you do your in-text citation, go to your works cited at the end of the document and do your works cited um, in its entirety, get it all done, and you can alphabetize it later. Okay. Um, the bottom one is for an actual text reference. Okay. And so there's your in-text citation in the body whenever you used the reference to validate things. And then your works cited, go to your works cited, get that all done, do the author last name if there's no first name, so just last name, then the title of the source, and then the title of container in italics. Keep that in mind. There should be a publisher here. If there is not one, and there is not one, just then go to the next one. Publication date, then location, there's the full URL, and then your period, and access date, and your period. Okay, so, and you can take a look at this was a 2012 reference um, that was posted, but you accessed it 4 years later. Okay, so this 2012 could be altered, say now in 2025. But when you wrote the paper, uh, this would be the one that, because you accessed this source in 2016. And if I came along and I used the same source, but it had something totally different, then I'd put the new date down and have the new access date. And of course, the publishing date would probably change as well. So just keep that in mind. Okay. So um, is it wrong just to have the author's last name? No. Um, if there's no author name or photographer's name, then title of picture. Okay. Either one, you start with either one or a two. Okay. But to further protect you, it doesn't hurt to have the author or photographer put that hyphen and then the title of the image, put them both there and be sure that they match up to your works cited. Okay. And that just further protects you. Okay. From plagiarism and so on and so forth. And again, you don't want any AI stuff interfering with your work. That's just going to totally mess things up for you. So please be genuine with everything and give credit where it's due. If it's not yours, if it's not common knowledge, give credit. Okay. And don't forget to also correct your red lines, blue lines, and your gray lines. Red lines are spelling, blue lines grammatical, gray lines sentence structure. They proofread, get the editing done. Don't submit it with all those lines in there. That right away, that's going to be alarm bells going off, and that's not going to be good for you. So correct those with the red lines, for example. If it is spelled correctly, but Word or Docs doesn't recognize it, add it to your dictionary, and it won't come up again. Even abbreviations and some of those URL characters that are listed there, you can add those to your dictionary too, and they won't pop up ever again too. So it just makes things a lot easier. Take a good look at my course online in regards to the difference between MLA 8 and 9 in regards to social media references as well. So 8 is here and 9 is up here. You can see they're giving credit to the person, not their username or whatever name they're using, their pseudonym or whatever the case. So be sure that you check that out as well. And last thing, with URLs, you don't want all this stuff. Okay. This is just, and it's a pain in the neck to indent every single line. So find the first set of series of numbers and cut it off there and put your period. That URL will still work. That hyperlink will still work. Oh, and get rid of your hyperlink. Remove all hyperlinks when you're done too. Okay. Do not leave those hyperlinks in. But that should be what it looks like. They're shorter and way better than this mess. Okay. I'm going to stop the share here. So, free words of wisdom. Okay. And I hope this will help you stay on track. It will lead you just to massive success. And I hope you'll check out the other videos as well. It doesn't hurt to see the other approaches to how I have shared this information with you. And even if there's a slight differences in the approach to the presentation, it's still, the information is still valid. It's still helpful to you. Okay. So, wish you all the best. And if you have any questions, please let me know. And thank you for using Heskin ELA on YouTube. And if you have subscribed, thank you. If you haven't, well, I'll get over it. Okay. So you take care, be safe, and see you in the next video.